Well, I thought I would post my experience about this holodynamics.com, since I just posted a video on this Destiny group, who I believe is using Dr. Wolf's science. I believe they've read this book, they've twisted it around, and they're using it, from what I perceive, as they're contradicting themselves. It's not an open group, which kind of looks like it's going to do some harm to some people if you don't keep your mind open. My experience with holodynamics was I could definitely see an awful lot going on in our world, and it's like nobody's believing me. And I needed the science to prove, see, this is what's going on in our reality. So what I was doing was searching to prove exactly what I wanted to prove, and just about everything I wanted to prove can be found with in holodynamics.com. I happen to be the biggest fan of holodynamics.com, but I will not join their group. Um, they're contradicting themselves as well, and they can't really see it. When I came to this group, I was basically at my lowest. Although I knew the information, it's like we need community, we need support. And this group was definitely not one that wanted to support me. Um, I didn't have very much money at all. I still was dealing with a great deal of abuse at the time, and it took me a while to save money to get tracking, and they refused to track me, even if I paid. Um, also, it claims to be a tool that can solve every problem known to the human experience. If you have gone out and proven that this stuff works, you have cured cancer, you have cured AIDS, you've cured mental illness and addictions, and you've written some very excellent books, why aren't they on a bestsellers list? Wouldn't that be a problem? I mean, if I wrote all of these books, if I have all of these concepts, and they're not successful out in the world, that would be a problem. So it's like you can't identify your own problem, because you'd use this tool and then you'd unfold the solution to your problem. There's a lot of contradictions that I see, and this group is just not open to communication. And while I was trying to communicate with this group, they were making a lot of very rude comments. They were definitely projecting what was inside them. They did not want to understand my perspective to be able to see, was I making any logical sense. They just sort of seen something that they didn't like and wanted it changed. And that sort of goes against their own logic, because even in their counseling or tracking methods, the tracker needs a tracker to make sure that you aren't trying to transform somebody's negative belief systems into your negative belief systems. The whole concept is you have your own solution, and it's only a process of you finding your own solution, which I'm a fan of. So if you're trying to help another person, you really got to make sure that you're not trying to change, influence people into your negative thinking. So I really am a fan of that, but they didn't use that same process in communicating with me. Um, I also made a suggestion when I tried to participate in the group. Part of this group, I was saying, well, you know, they do have a lot of contradictions, and the guy says, just ignore the contradiction and let's figure out how we can solve it. And it's like, okay, you can't solve it unless you look at the contradictions that are preventing you from solving it. So it was like, okay, I'm talking with insanity here. So I was really, really frustrated at the time. And I can definitely see it was my inability to communicate with this group. They did not block me. They still seemed to be open, but I wasn't calm enough to deal with that level of insanity. And it's like, not saying I'm perfect. I'm just saying, let's use the tools the way you suggest it works. Don't sort of project your shit onto my shit. Use your own process to figure it out. Now, a lot of people have said that this guy is out for money and nobody's going to follow this guy because he's a really greedy guy. That doesn't make very much logic sense, because if this guy was really, really greedy, guess what? That science, beyond a doubt, can be used to manipulate the hell out of you. Um, if he wanted to, he could market this stuff. I mean, he's cured all of these diseases. It's marketable. He is just, I mean, when I started on this, he didn't do any marketing. He didn't even talk to anybody that did any marketing. I started suggesting maybe you should do some marketing. So as soon as I started suggesting that, I mean, his very, very reasonable prices skyrocketed. So obviously, some really greedy guys said, you know what, to market this, you got to increase your price. And it's like, the economy's going down. People can't afford anything. Does that make any sense to increase it? Is that the good direction of marketing? I mean, you can make more money off of lower prices. Just reach your target audience. Don't go for the rich people. Go for the poor people that can't afford it, but that really need it. Um, so there are some flaws within this holodynamic group, but the science itself is perfect. It just can't identify the unknown problem. And this Dr. Wolf has definitely said, what you see out in the world is actually coming from you. But he can't really recognize that a lot of people are sort of phoning him up saying your shit doesn't work. So it's like, is this guy saying, okay, why is the universe saying this doesn't work? What is going on here? Why do you get people crossing your path that says something's wrong? And see that maybe there is something wrong that you're not really listening to. And from my perspective, it is a lack of communication. You really have to have an open mind, but you can't be saying that you have all of the answers. This is the biggest problem that we're dealing with, is so many people are coming up with these really great ideas and they're thinking that this is the answer. And some of it is brilliant shit. I mean, holodynamics is the most brilliant shit on the planet. This guy should be winning a Nobel Peace Prize. So why is it I'm not part of the group? From my perspective, there's just not open communication. It cannot be me belonging to a group and nobody listening to me. Part of my experience of being abused is the reality nobody's listening to me. So in tracking and healing myself, guess what? I'm making sure I'm being heard. I'm not going to be influenced into the same patterns that got me to experience abuse in the first place. I have boundaries now and I'm staying firm in them. You kind of created the tool that made me aware that I got to stand up for myself. I got to believe in my own shit. And using this tool, I definitely seen that what I needed to do was improve my communication skills. And that's what I've been doing. There is no question, at the time, the help that I needed to calm down. I needed to be heard. I was not heard, so I had to do this myself. Kind of cruel, Dr. Wolf. But I have managed to do it myself. Calming down took, for me, a lot of very, very deep breathing, 6 baths a day, doing an awful lot of walking, really looking at